Good morning, gentlemen. Today's Friday. Listen, man, I'm feeling good. You understand me? I'm feeling cool as a fan. I just got a haircut. Listen, I had a good talk with the guys today as well. And, it's weird. I was just thinking right now, like, what should I make a video about? And then for some reason, I had an idea. Like, just as soon as I asked that question, I had an idea. And so whether that was my intuition telling me something, my subconscious, or, whether that was God, just sending me something, I don't know. But who am I to reject that feeling and that, thing that popped into my head? So what I want to talk about is self-improvement, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys have ever watched this movie. I'm sure you have, Fight Club. And if you haven't watched it, you should definitely watch it. Absolutely, it's a must-watch. I think it's from like the 90s. It's a good movie though. But in there's a scene where I forgot the guy's name, but he tells the main character, because there's two main characters. There's a blonde one and then there's one with brown hair. And so the main character, the blonde one, who's like the badass, pretty much, while the what's it called? The guy with the brown hair, he's kind of like that beta male type of guy. So the blonde hair guy, he's like that alpha male, and that brown hair guy, he's kind of like this like weak little soy boy, like beta male type of guy. And so there's a scene in the film where I forget both of the guys' names. So the alpha guy basically tells the beta, he tells him self-improvement is masturbation. Okay, he says that line. Self-improvement is masturbation. Now, why does he say that? I think that went over a lot of people's heads, and they don't really understand what that means or why. Like, I think people don't really have a way to interpret it for the most part. And, it makes sense because, like, when you hear it, because you would think that he'd be all about self-improvement, getting in shape, becoming stronger. You would think he would be all about that. But he says self-improvement is masturbation. Like, it's not a good thing. And so you have to think, like, why does he say that, right? Why does he say that? So the way I interpret it is like you have to think of like what is masturbation first and foremost. Like, obviously when guys masturbate or whatever, they watch pornography and they pleasure themselves or something to something that's really not there. But they like watch video after video based off like a fantasy. They see something and they think to themselves, this would be nice, basically. But they never actually engage in that activity. Like, they're not actually having sex. They just like think like, wow, this would be nice, and so they watch video after video, and they like almost like they almost convince themselves that it's real, So now, how does that relate to self-improvement? It's crazy that this movie was made when it was, because at that time, like, YouTube wasn't even like what it is now, and self-improvement wasn't what it is now. But it's crazy that they had like the foresight, because it was based off a book, but the foresight to see that. And so when you think of like self-improvement, the way I think it relates to masturbation is this. What do most people do? These self-improvement channels or these self-improvement pages or blogs, whatever, millions of people follow them. Millions of people watch them. And so what happens? I won't lie, I've been a victim of this as well. Well, I don't want to say victim, but I've engaged in this type of behavior too. Where, you see a self-improvement video, and you watch the whole thing, and you're fired up, man. thinking, man, this is great, this is awesome, this makes me feel motivated, I love the way this makes me feel. And then what? And you go into the next video. You know, you get that hit of dopamine again. Oh man, wow, that guy's spitting facts. You know, and then you go into the next video. And so, the reason it's masturbation is because it's like a fantasy, and you almost convince yourself that you're doing the right thing because you're consuming self-improvement content, but it's not real. Like, it's not leading to anything real. You're watching more videos than you are actually putting in the work. You know, for every 10-minute video, you should have like a 1 hour or 2 hours of doing work, whether that's working out, working on projects, whatever you consider to be self-improvement. But when you're watching a video of self-improvement, a motivational video, that's not self-improvement. You can't be like, you know, if your friends call you and ask you, hey, what are you doing? You can't be like, oh, I'm self-improving, if all you're doing is watching videos. That is not self-improvement. Now, that could be educational, sure, but like, the self-improvement is more so motivation. That's kind of what it's turned into. Because when guys, like real self-improvement, as far as like learning about, you know, credit and things like that, and learning about different things that actually matter, people aren't as engaged in those types of subjects as compared to a video about, you know, that says, I don't know, a video that's like motivational or something, or inspiring. So it just gives you that dopamine rush, that little dopamine rush, and now you're chasing the next high. And so it's the same with, you know, with pornography or masturbation. It's the same thing. You're just chasing a high. You know, there's it's a fantasy though. Like, it's not really, you're not really doing anything. You're not producing anything. You're just chasing a high. It's the same with pornography. So that's what that means. Self-improvement is masturbation, because like, or at least that's how I interpret it, you know? Like, you're not really, or like, you know, in that movie Fight Club, at the beginning, the guy's like in that little group or whatever, and he's in that group, and in that group, there's a bunch of guys, and they're basically all like crying together, and they're hugging each other. It's a bunch of fat guys with like man boobs and stuff, and so they're kind of just like cuddling almost, like, but it's a bunch of men, and it's like a place for men to be like vulnerable and stuff. And so they're not really like doing anything, they're not changing anything, but they're just like basically getting together and crying together. And so that's kind of like, so that's not real self-improvement. Like, you're not improving anything. All you're doing is just giving yourself the illusion that you're improving, when in reality you're just wasting time, and like, you're not doing anything. You're just giving yourself the illusion. You're just getting a dopamine hit. It's like a drug. And so does that mean self-improvement is bad? I don't think so, okay? But you have to be very actionable about your self-improvement. It can't just be, you know, following all these self-improvement pages. It's not doing you any good. Like, yeah, you're getting filled with all these sweet thoughts and everything, and yeah, that's cool. But unless they're leading to real results or real action, it's not nothing. Like, it's nothing. Like, you're just wasting your time. And you're just feeding these guys basically like money. Like, or especially, you know, those people that buy those courses or seminars, and then they get super hyped up for like a weekend, and then after that, like, there's nothing. Like, listen, man, you have to have an actionable plan, okay? Self-improvement is cool, but use it strictly for educational purposes, and keep it very limited. You know, limit your dose. You know, it's the only things that you really need to learn about. Like, say you want to start working out, you want to get a bigger chest. You go on YouTube or Google, you look up chest exercises. You find a couple, you know, 2 or 3, you implement them into your workout. Boom, that's all you need to do. You don't need to go on and watch like 50 videos of Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know, things like that. Like, you don't need that. All you need is to know, okay, what workouts to do, and, you know, how many reps, how many sets, whatever, and then you just implement them, and that's all. Now, and then you just get off YouTube, put them into your workout plan, and then you go to your workout later that day, try them out, you know, you play around with them, see which ones you like, and boom, that's all you gotta do. You know, you don't have to be like watching a bunch of Arnold Schwarzenegger or strongman, videos and just trying to get like this dopamine hits of just like of nothing. It should be every video that you watch. Maybe not every, because there are some useless videos, but I'll say the majority. I would say 80% of the videos you watch should lead to actionable. Should lead to action. Don't watch videos just because they sound cool or the title looks cool. Watch videos that you really, I don't want to say need, but could really serve you in a real way. Not just like, oh, it looks like entertainment. Because otherwise, that's not self-improvement. That's just entertainment, which is cool, but don't call it self-improvement. So, yeah, I think you should really be careful about the things that you consume, about the people that you watch. You have to think, is this really like making me better? Like really, like by watching these videos, am I getting like an extra, 30 seconds faster on my mile time, an extra couple minutes, an extra minute or two on my, 5-mile run? Or is this just making me feel good? And if it's just making you feel good, what's the point of that? You should really be working out. That's going to make you feel a whole lot better in the long term. You should really be, building that business. You should really be, whatever your goals are, working on that project, painting that picture, whatever it is, learning that new song, whatever it is, you should really be doing. Because that's what's really going to make you feel better. And it's really producing something rather than just watching a video. That's not producing anything. And you're just getting a little dopamine hit. And, limit your consumption to these different things. Especially, think like TikTok, like, man, or like Instagram. You could easily, go down the rabbit hole, whatever. And next thing you know, an hour passed. That's an hour that you're never going to get back. And what did you really gain from that? Like, what did you really actionably say that you actually gained from that? Nothing. It's all just a waste of time. I'm not going to say it's all a waste of time. The majority of it is. You have to be very careful about where you put your time and your energy. Make sure it's leading to action. That's what I would say. Don't watch a video about nutrition if you're not really going to change your diet. I mean, it's good to know, but like yeah, these things are good to know, but unless you really put them into action, like, they don't really do you any good. But then again, that's just my opinion. Like, who knows? But yeah, that's what I would say. But yeah, anyways, you gotta stay pressure. Understand? Get your money right, get your body right, get your mind right. Make sure you're reading books. Listen, man. I woke up at 5 a.m. today. I was reading for like 2 hours. Until like 7. I stopped reading and I started just thinking about everything that I read. I ended up falling asleep and I woke up like an hour later. But like all those thoughts they were in my head as I slept, if that makes sense. Like, I woke up and I was still thinking about that stuff. But yeah, and it's definitely like reading those books, it definitely changes my perspective on things. And as a result of that, I'm gonna like change the way I approach certain things. Make sure I approach them smarter, faster, stronger, whatever. Make sure I'm doing things as efficiently as possible, and I'm really moving that needle. And I think you guys should do the same. Listen, get your mind right, get your body right, get your spirit right, get your money right. We're in a capitalist society. We have to get our money right. Unless you have your own house, your own car or truck, you shouldn't even be worried about, chasing girls. None of that. Make sure you focus on your priorities. You shouldn't even be looking at TikTok and Instagram. All these little girls and stuff, shaking their butt and stuff. Like, listen, man, focus on what's important. Make sure you get your priorities straight. Make sure you focus on doing what you gotta do. First and foremost, business comes first. Pleasure comes later. Alright, y'all. But Y'all take care, man.